Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. Gerry is here, Max is here, Terry is here, and we need to talk defense. Defense. So you got to make sure I put the right emphasis on the right syllable there. So guys, recently we went 5 at the back. Some people say 3 at the back. It's really 5. When you actually watch bunkered back against City. But traditionally, Silva's been setting us up with 4. Okay, so I think the general consensus among the 3 of us is we prefer 4 with our players and with our setup. Really quick, Max has talked about kind of the transitioning between defense and attack and not having enough in the center to be able to kind of move that ball forward. I fully agree. With that. Terry, as far as can you think of any other, I guess, drawbacks to rolling with 5 in the back besides kind of that issue in the center of the pitch?
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. In fact, to play that system, you need a very specific set of players that suit it. We haven't got that, and I don't think we've ever had that. Every time we play 5 at the back, it's, nominally 3 at the back, but reality 5 at the back, we never play well. And a lot of managers will go for it, thinking it'll shore up the defence. It actually hurts the defence, because the defenders are uncomfortable in the formation because they don't know where they're meant to be, because they don't train with it and they don't play with that formation. Chelsea did 3 at the back a couple of seasons ago under Antonio Conte, and they had the perfect storm to play that. They had, crucially, wing backs, which we don't have. They had Victor Moses and Marcus Alonso, who would go up and down that wing all day and never ever tire. In the midfield, they had N'Golo Kante and Cesc Fabregas. They had a playmaker and a destroyer. Now, we might have that. Garner and Gomez fit that mould, but at the back they had ball-playing defenders, because their defenders, like David Luiz, were relied on a lot to make the killer forward passes to the front 3, which we don't have. Michael Keane's okay on the ball. Yerry Mina, the last game notwithstanding, seems okay on the ball. But are they good enough to split the defence? I don't think so. David Luiz was a sort of defender come midfielder, so it worked for them, and the biggest part was their personnel suited it. Ours don't. About 2 players at most will suit the system. It upsets the players who are good players, because they don't know where they're meant to be half the time. They don't know whether to come or go. They don't know who they're meant to be picking up. We saw it again against Man City. A lot of the problem you mentioned in the last video, Gerry, that not just Mina with the lazy sort of punt into the middle of the pitch, the 2 other centre backs don't know who they're meant to be picking up, because they're in unnatural positions from what they're used to. I absolutely hate 5 at the back for Everton. I hope we don't play it again.
So, Max, while Terry is flip-flopping and not really telling us what he really feels, Max, I was expecting you to give me a little situational. So you're like, no, it's the worst in the world. Now, Silva employed it last game, Max. Would you have preferred he roll with Tom Davies in the center? Or do you think situationally it actually was acceptable for a little while against City, at least until City scored?
I had this kind of weird brainwave. I would have even preferred to have seen Kurt Zuma in midfield rather than go.
Other people were talking about that may have been the setup. A lot of people said that.
He'd be a lot more comfortable with sitting back, holding, picking up any loose runners, and he seemed like he's got the athletic ability to do that. I was looking at the 3 centre halves in particular, and looking at the past clubs who they've been at, and they're just not made for the 5/3 at the back. Michael Keane obviously had that stability at Burnley, where that's bread and butter 4 at the back. Kurt Zouma is obviously a weird one. He spent last season at Stoke, and they're not expansive enough to be playing a 5-back.
Right.
And other than that, Saint Etienne and Chelsea, Yerry Mina. I mean, Gerry, you might know more about when he played in Brazil, but as we know with Barcelona, they are schooled with 4-3-3. So I don't know. I mean, I know it seems to be this more postmodern approach that the coaches like to, put out there to make them look like they can cope with different systems, but this just didn't contain Manchester City at all. Pickford was playing short balls out to Mina in particular, and Mina, because he was closed down so quickly, he was just ending up punting it upfield. And someone said near me when I was at the game, and rightly so, there's literally no difference between Pickford hitting it long and Mina hitting it long. And to be honest, Pickford distribution was pretty poor against Man City as well. So if your centre back and your goalkeeper's having a bad day in terms of playing out against Manchester City, you're just going to invite pressure onto yourself, and we did that, and we just got absolutely mauled in the wide areas.
Yeah, Pickford 1 second he'd put one out of bounds, and then the next second he'd put one completely in Bernard's step as he's like running toward the line.
Yeah,
it just right now with Pickford. Well, plus I mean you got rainy conditions, which isn't helping. Rainy cold conditions, which isn't helping. But still, I think it's one of those things. He deals with inconsistency with his feet. That happens often with him. It's just one of those things. He's still developing.
He's still young, yeah. He's really young.
Yeah. So if we roll with 4, I think it's pretty clear. You roll with Dean on the left, and Keane, I think, has earned a spot as one of your 2 center backs. Now, before this past game, I think we would have said at the moment, Mina is our starter with Keane. However, based on this past performance, Mina did misplay some balls. It did happen. And there were a couple of times where maybe his communication with his surrounding defenders wasn't what it should be. And he also, for the first goal, he left Gabriel Jesus onside because he didn't push out quickly enough. Is Zuma the way to go for the next one, or you know what I mean? So, Terry, what do you think if you've got a choice between Mina and Zuma as Keane's partner?
Mina for me. Not that I dislike Zuma. I think Zuma's a really good player. I'd hope we keep him. But Mina had a bad game, but I wouldn't drop him. I still think he's the right player for how we're playing and how we want to play at the minute, because he's really good in one-on-ones. Zuma is as well. I'd like to see us try and build with Mina. I don't want to just drop him after like the odd, a few ropey games, because feasibly he's got the man of the match in his debut against Chelsea, and then we should have really had a clean sheet against Liverpool. That goal was obviously nothing the defence could have done anything about. So he's a player for big games. Obviously, it's gone against him in this recent one, but I'd be looking at Keane and Mina still. Yeah.
Max, what do you think?
I'm going to have to say Zuma.
I saw that look on your face, and I knew what you were going to say. You had that little, like, I'm going to say something different face.
No. Because Terry's given really compelling points to put Mina in the team. For me, play for your place, and to get beaten in the air by Gabriel Jesus, who's 5'9", and Raheem Sterling, who's 5'7". I'm sorry, you need to sit out and look at the repercussions of your actions.
But they jump really high.
Yeah.
I was kidding, sorry.
He wasn't great for the Newcastle goal either, to be fair. He was not entirely a fault. So I do take what Max is saying. Zuma could very much feel aggrieved for not coming back in the team, considering Bean has made some high-profile mistakes. But
I was going to say, is Dele Alli fit for the Tottenham game? Because could you imagine him coming up against Yerry Mina? That just looked like a little scrap waiting to happen. Seeing him with Harry Kane as well.
Yeah, I'd worry about Mina getting a red in that one. I feel like the officials never see all the stuff that Dele Alli does to piss off the opposition. He's so clever about being a jerk.
Edison, when he picked up Mina as well, I think he changed his mind when Mina got in his face. Yeah. He was they get up, what are you falling down for?
I just don't know
And
what
then
Mina's
he-
doing putting his forehead to anybody. I think we should have learned that lesson by now, right?
Oh no! It's just the new players need to realise that you will walk in the Premier League for stuff like that. Especially in Mina's case, you're not at Barcelona now. You will not get away with it. You will not be protected by the referee.
Yeah. Having said that, he did get bumped in the back on that play. Now, he fell down theatrically, but he did get bumped in the back. That was one of those where I thought, man, if you just hadn't sold it like that, maybe they would have gotten something, Just this over-the-top embellishment. I feel like it pisses the refs off. You know what I mean? It would annoy me. I know that. I personally would give Mina one more chance versus Spurs. Just because he is our player. There you go. I would give him one more shot at that. And if he gives me any reason to wonder, Zuma goes in. You know what I mean? If he gives me any reason. But this was the first game where I saw him make multiple mistakes. However, the fact that they were running a different system, I feel like someone was probably going to get exposed. Like, who is it going to be? So yeah, and I think it's easy to pick on him too. Just because I don't know that every single one of those was his fault. I don't. I think poor communication between the defenders just could have been better. One last thing, guys. We need to talk about Coleman. I didn't see where Coleman looked. It wasn't the worst game I've seen Coleman play this weekend. However, he got subbed early, and we pushed Zuma out to the right, who doesn't really give us anything going forward, which I found strange. That we took Coleman out, who actually was getting forward some. So I'm not sure who wants to start on this, but right now it seems like our two right backs are either Coleman or Zuma, which means pretty clearly we need a right back soon, right?
Yeah. I mean, we said it a couple of weeks ago, and we definitely need like a Luca Dean on the right hand side, don't we? I mean, the fact that he left Zuma on at right back sort of says it all. And Silva seems to be sort of settling on a smaller group of players within his 25 of who he trusts, and I think Coleman started off in that group, and he's sort of through performances the last couple of weeks, he's finding himself out of it. Now at the minute he can't do anything about it, and he is still one of the leaders of the team, and he's definitely good enough to be, in the squad. But if you want to make this next step, you need better players. And Seamus Coleman of today is not the Seamus Coleman of Roberto Martinez's first season, where he terrorised Arsenal, and he seems to have lost that crucial yard of pace now, and it's hurting him going in both directions. So he can't get down the line and help attacking the way he used to, and he's getting found out a little bit in defence. I honestly think in January we might see two players come in. I think a striker and a right back. I think a right back was probably on the agenda for the summer, but it might be bumped forward now, because if the manager's going so far as to play in a centre back at right back, which he won't do long term. We won't see the next game. Coleman will still start against Spurs. It won't be Zuma at right back against them. But you can sort of see it starting to turn now that they maybe I need to make Coleman was probably a couple of years off at the start of the season from going the way of Baines, but I think the manager now is probably thinking, maybe he needs to go into the second choice and be that really strong, sort of second choice right back who can push the new guy. Or if he does come in January, Coleman can stay in the team, so the new guy can settle in slowly at his own pace. But yeah, it pains me to say it, because we've even spoken on here earlier in the season about how he's the new captain and all that. But this season, it's basically this month is showing some of the deficiencies in the squad, and unfortunately he is one.
Yeah, I want to be clear. if I have a choice between Coleman or Zuma, I choose Coleman. If I feel like Saturday I would have stayed with Coleman if it was between him and Zuma. I feel like Coleman is better equipped to stop one of the, that cross. I think it was an assist that came from the side. Zuma let that get through. I feel like Coleman is better suited and trains on that a lot more. I would have trusted Coleman in that situation a little bit more. Do I feel like he is game in, game out, providing what we should be getting out of that position? No. He needs competition. He needs someone else to spell him sometimes. I was really hoping that person was going to be John Joe Kenny. I think John Joe Kenny is the kind of person who can play every once in a while, but it's a drawback in terms of experience, and Kenny does not give us consistency either. We need someone we can rely on for consistency, and we just don't have that right now. I could see Kenny going out on loan this January, along with Holgate, actually, to Premier League opposition potentially. So, because that's where I'd want them.
Holgate especially is good enough to play there. It's just can't find his way in to our team. If I'm one of the lower down teams, I'd be all over Coleman. Not Coleman, sorry, Holgate.
Or Holgate.
I actually,
Holgate. Yeah.
Holgate, yeah, my mistake.
Yeah. Kenny's one of those. I'm not completely sure if he could play, if someone would want him on loan in the Premier League. In the Championship. You know that. Yeah. Anyway, basically we have more questions right now. But I think it's pretty safe to say if we take our 4 best defenders right now, it's Dean, Keane, Coleman, and either Zuma or Mina. So yeah. What really messes things up is when Idrissa Gueye is hurt. that just yeah. So that may tell us another position of need for January as well, though. That is a thing. So, all right, guys. Anything else on our defense? All right, guys. All right. So I guess that's it for our defensive dilemma. Kind of has some, but if you really look at it, it sort of solves itself. With really only one question. But when it comes to January, all bets are off. Things are different. Players come in. Total anarchy. So, yeah. There's that. If you've been digging our videos, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. Creeping up to 1,400 subs. And for a channel that's only been going for just over a year, that's pretty special. So, thank you for that. If you would like to read Max's words, you should check his Twitter, because he does lots of different analysis for the Toffee Blues website and other websites. So check out that. But he also is on pods and vids. So yeah, just watch him tweet. Watch Terry tweet too, because he'll tell you when he shows up on the Liverpool Echo fan jury. Yeah, that's all I got. So next, stay tuned for our half-year review. It's sort of like a report card, except I don't think we're giving letter grades. We're not that anal right now, I don't think. So maybe later. But yeah, half-year review on Silva. How's he doing? You can find out. Stay tuned. So bye.